Data mining is a term used for the process of reading encrypted or encoded information that generally is read only by the parent program and turning it into usable form. In the case of Warframe, an example of data mining would be looking into the game's code and finding out what shield type the player has, as this information is not given anywhere in the game normally. Another example was how players knew the stats of the secondary attack of the Stradivar weapon, since at the time this information was not given by the game. In general terms, and in regards to the recent debacle with Void Glitch related to this subject, data mining in this case was the public publishing of data mining results, such as information on drop rates and items hidden in the game code not yet published. An important thing to note about this information is none of it is ever the game's code directly, and the information is always simply information. While others have gone into more detail and say it better in my opinion, what this means is while digital extremes can be upset by data mining itself, the resulting information does not harm the game or anyone involved, period. Telling users how much damage the Stradivar semi-auto mode does, going back to this example, does not allow users to somehow hack the game or gain access to the game's code. In fact, even with DE's recent UI updates that included some weapons having stats for their alt-fire modes, many weapons still do not have this information in-game, and thus we're still relying on data mined information to know this. The easiest way to prevent someone from trying to gain hidden information in your game is simply making that wanted information public. So while Digital Extremes works on 2 more frames, a new enemy type, a new primary, more prime weapons, and a few bug fixes, people are attempting to gain access to the game's code to see information they want or need to better understand something about the game. In other words, making the game itself, or the forums/wiki, have the information people already want will lower the need for anyone to try to gain access to the game. A good example of something that is still needed is information on the Mutalist Quanta bubble. They changed the bubbles, added damage to weapons fired through it to electric for some reason, but also changed how it works. The result is more damage, up to 3 times as bullets are fired through, but it is unclear if it is simply bonus damage, or bonus damage and extra critical damage. This information is impossible without data mining, which leaves the wiki informational page on the subject incomplete. Speaking of the wiki, in fact, up until recently with the UI changes I mentioned, the wiki was the best source to view these stats on the alt-fire or secondary attacks on some weapons, since this information was not present in the game. We would never have known critical stats about weapons, warframes, players, enemy scaling, or even accurate drop rates of rare items if data mining did not come into play. Without just repeating what others have said about Void Glitch specifically, my point of this video was to give my opinions on data mining itself and the information I myself have relied on to make educational videos, such as WDR, that would have not been possible without some data mining involved.